Okay, let's have a day. So this market is it's moving. It is moving. This would be kind of crazy. I mean, three gap ups in a row. This market is rallying to the upside. Not complaining whatsoever. Like I've said, coming into today, if you are looking to trade, the SPY and the Qs, your main focus should just be on the previous day high and the previous day lows for pullback long entries. So you can see this thing, SPY still moving. So we're just gonna look for continuation. Just look for something like this. Um, a pullback long of the previous day high and just see if this thing can continue higher. I'm hands off on the SPY and the Qs. But these are the valid key levels that you would just be looking to take a trade off of. This thing is moving higher, but three gap ups is, man, that's crazy. Not complaining though, not complaining. Eventually, we got to restore balance eventually. So it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but when we have a day where we're just melting to the downside that entire day, just do not be surprised. There's so much thin volume and so many gaps in the market now. It's kind of crazy. So AMD, nothing here for me. You can see we ended up sweeping this the previous day highest liquidity. So very valid. If you want to look for a break and retest over that. But since we already swapped this liquidity, if I was coming into the market taking a trade off this previous day high, I'd really be hands off. If it's unmitigated liquidity and I get a first break and retest, I like it more. But we're not near a key level, so I'm pretty much just hands off this name today on AMD. Nvidia is going to be on my close watch list. This is what I mean when I say pullback longs or the A plus trades. In the live trading session I posted yesterday, you see that this was really the A plus setup, and beautiful. If you take these trades and you hold, as long as you're above the level you're risking off of, it is a valid trade. So if you took that trade, you're risking that much to make this much. And now this thing is pretty much headed towards all-time highs. All-time highs. So very valid trade here. This was the A plus right here. Unfortunately, I did not get that, but I did take a break and retest off this level. So today on Nvidia, it will be on my close watch list. You can see we pretty much already kind of got that break and retest a little bit. But if we can get a pullback long to this 191.05 before we make a new all-time high, I like it. If we just make a new all-time high today, I'm pretty much hands off just saying. Tesla, hopefully we can kind of get a dip and rip. You can kind of see, let's see, yeah, 130. So we kind of got this pullback around 130 to 450.70. So 70 cents away. That's pretty valid. So, if we open up and we just rally to the upside, it's kind of no shocker. You can see, break, pullback, retest, buyer stepped up here, and this thing is pushing higher. So what I do love is to see that we're finally starting to respect this level, this 450. You can clearly see that. So I have an alert set here. This will be on my close watch. I'm just looking for a pullback long off of 450, targeting previous day high and the top of this range. And if we don't get this pullback, I'm just going to be waiting for the break and retest over 466.50, targeting all-time highs. I'm very confident in this one. This thing is still gravitating towards all-time highs. It still hasn't completed its objective like all these other names. So we shall see. But this will be on my close watch list. Kind of a slow week a little bit with ticker-wise. Apple's out of the mix, Google's out of the mix just because they have earnings, so we know not to touch those. You can see Palantir, we pulled back here to this 188 during pre-market, right on the dot, only 25 cents away. That's a valid retest. So if we just rally to the upside, wouldn't be surprised. If I can get this pullback, I will be potentially looking for a swing trade here. This is a breaker structure level. This is a key level that was broken on the higher time frame. We are obviously bullish. We just made all-time highs yesterday. So if I can get this, I will be potentially looking for a swing trade. You can clearly see, let me get rid of this. One sec. You can clearly see, this 188 being defended here, all the pre-market yesterday. This is a strong level that is holding up. This is a breaker structure type of level. So, if we can get this pullback along to 188, I'm definitely intrigued into entering a long position and trying to position myself in a swing trade. And then hood, this thing is very bullish. This thing really has a straight shot towards all-time high. It's off the pre-market plan video yesterday or coming into today's session. So this is something that I will watch. I'll add this in my close watch as well. Hopefully the spreads are a little bit better, but we'll see. As of now, AMD is not on my close watch. I think after today will be a good day just because there is a key level forming right here around this area. There is a key level forming here. So after today's price action, hopefully that forms on the 4 hour, and then I can start looking to take a trade. But as of now, I'm just hands off this name until we form a higher time frame key level. I'll add a video on my close watch as well. But like I said, if this doesn't pull back to 191 before making an all-time high, I'm hands off. But this was the A plus trade. Pull back long, A plus trade here. Literally, you able to hold this to the top of this range. That was a great trade, and then leave some runners because you never would have got stopped out for break even into a swing trade, and then you really got clear shot towards all-time high. So this was the A plus trade, really starting the week off. So we'll see if we can get something like that. That'd be very valid. But like I say, if we make a new all-time high, I'm hands off this name. If we make an all-time high in some way somehow in the same session, we come all the way back down to 191.05, then maybe I'll look to take a trade. But I don't really want to enter anything after we already make a new all-time high, at least on the intraday. I would just wait for the following day or something because the move is already completed. So we'll see. All right, so got about 5 minutes until market opens. So you can see my main three here for my close watch is going to be Tesla, Nvidia, and Hood. So you can see Hood respecting this key level very well. It respected it very well yesterday. Clearly, we know we are not looking to short this name, so I'm only looking for a long position here. So I love to see, these reactions pre-market. This would be a good compliment for me, right? This would be a break over the pre-market high, a break over a daily resistance level, turn to support, and then, we're clearly riding the trend. So run out the pre-market plan, break over 146.70. Hopefully we can get some continuation. The market is moving. We got the market in our favor. Scale out, depending on the price action, at the previous day high, and see if this thing can gravitate towards all-time high. Could potentially even turn into a swing trade. So we'll see. And then Nvidia, looking for a pullback off just 191.05. Like I said, we already kind of got that. So if we just literally rip to the all-time high, we really won't be surprised. Just because, we're already sitting at 193.58. So we're not that far away. Wouldn't be surprised. And like I always say, when you enter up here, you're entering late to the party. You want to enter on the dips, the pullbacks, right? We already want to be in a position when we get up here. So we'll see. I just have it on my close watch just because. But if it makes a new all-time high, that'd be pretty cool to see. That's crazy. We saw Nvidia just sitting in a channel, just sitting in a channel for almost 3 weeks, and then now we're up almost back to making all-time highs. But it's cool to show you the beauty of like avoiding channels. Avoiding channels. Look how clean the price action is. Now that we finally got over this 184.50, just nice trendy to the upside, stair stepping, beautiful intraday price action. That's why we avoid channels, and then let our A plus trades come to us. So we'll see how this goes. I would hope we get a pullback, but we'll see. And then Tesla. So Tesla kind of doesn't know what it wants to do. Now that we're above this, like I said, if we fall under 450, I'm not taking a long off this, just because technically we would just be back in the middle of the range between 450 and 410. So just looking for a pullback long off of 450. You can clearly see this is also the pre-market low. So this is a very strong level. As we know, one of my favorite is if we fail that and then reclaim it. So I will be looking for that as well on Tesla. So we shall see. You can clearly see coming into today, it's still in between the previous day high and the previous day low, in the middle of the pre-market high and the pre-market low. So we're gonna let this price action, develop, and then see what Tesla wants to do. So we got about 2 minutes here till market opens. All right, 30 seconds here. So see this rejection here on hood. I like seeing that reaction. Hopefully, we can get a break over 146.70. If we stay heavy, I'm just pretty much hands off this name, but we are bullish buys on hood. It would be nice to see the one sec. So this is actually something I want to see. If you're gonna choose between hood and Tesla, definitely going Tesla. I just want to see if we can get this pullback along here. As you know, I don't trade the first 2 minute candle anyway, so gotta wait and see. Qs is pushing very aggressively. So a little bit divergence between the Qs and the SPY here. Nvidia makes a new all-time high. I really wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, we already got that A plus set up yesterday. I was kind of looking for a dip and rip, but I'm pretty much hands off Nvidia. Very volatile counter here on hood. This is why we wait for candle closure and displacement. We're watching Tesla here. A little bit of divergence here on Tesla. As you know, I just need a deeper pullback here. That's all I need. See, these spreads just annoy me. Look at these spreads. It's just kind of hard to take that. I'll see. The spread's like evened out a little bit better on hood. Okay, so Nvidia just made a new all-time high for sure. No shocker there. So what I mean when I say like you enter late to the party up here, it's just because like if you take a break and retest over the all-time high, you gotta expect a pullback. You know, and if it doesn't play out, it kind of sucks because your thesis is right, but you're playing when the move has already happened and extended. So it's just like a lower probability of it being a winning trade. I don't want Tesla to dip back a little bit more, but we'll see. See, there's a very strong level here, 146.70 here on hood. Sellers are sitting up here. We keep getting the body of the candle to close around 146.36. So it's a very strong level. Bodies just stand down here. So we'll see how Tesla does on this 15-minute. Buys are starting to step up. You can clearly see the divergence. Buyers are really in control here on NVIDIA. But NVIDIA has an objective. Starting to see a little bit of a pullback here on the Qs. I kind of would prefer the market to pull back here to at least this previous day high. Kind of fill this gap early in the session. It's a little bit of divergence though, because SPY is breaking under its low of day. So we'll see. I mean, we know 450 is a strong level. You see buyers stepping up here on these wicks. So like that's not a surprise. That's not a surprise. So like I said, we already got that break and retest during the pre-market, but just gonna be patient here. These are some big wicks, some big candles. It's a volatile open. Yeah, overall market's heavy right now. So now there's some divergence on Tesla. Oh well, if I don't get this, let's pull back to 450. Probably just gonna pass on it. But this is like the A plus trade down here. Yeah, SPY is way heavier than the Qs right now. So yeah, see that? That's no shot. We saw buyer step up here, right? Curl shape recovery. We already got this break and retest pre-market. I was kind of hoping we would get a dip and rip. We almost got it. Let me see. We were $1.60 away. So pretty unfortunate there. Yeah, that sucks. Oh well. I'm just trying. Buyers are really trying here. I just need a displacement candle to for a body of the candle to close. See, sellers are starting to show their hands here a little, but I think we'll make all-time highs. I think we will, especially if we get a low day bounce here on the Qs and the SPY. Okay, starting to seem a little steady now. I just want these candles to clean up just a little bit more on hood. You can see the candles on Tesla. This is what I mean. When you play the pullback longs, these are the A plus trades. These are the better entries. These are the better entries. We just didn't get that, but you're risking right under here. You can catch this whole move. Looks pretty solid. So we'll see. Now, I don't know if we will, but if this rejects up here and then make an all-time high and we pull all the way back down to 190, 105, I'm definitely looking for a long position there. Like I said, as long as we didn't take out the all-time high yet, that is a 100% clean valid shot. Put something in line. Tesla's been irritating me a couple of days. Tesla's definitely been irritating me. Like I said, you see right here, we already got that retest, So sometimes that pullback is not going to be as deep. Already got that retest. So I have an alert up here. Yeah, clear divergence here on SPY and the Qs. SPY's pulling back pretty heavy. Qs is holding up. It had a low day bounce. And SPY's pulling back to the previous day high. So we'll see. I would love for Tesla to come back, but I don't know. 46. That's the retest right there on HUD. We'll see. I don't care too much to take a trade off that name. Yeah, these spreads are irritating me. Like you could go two strikes in the money, but look at the volume there. Yeah, really just Tesla and Tesla and Nvidia, just because Apple's out of the mix, and then AMD as of now. I think today would be a very important day for AMD if it can just give us a key level in the 4 hour. You can see the cues here, and then look at the SPY. Clear divergence, clear divergence. SPY's dropping, cues is rallying, so clear divergence there on the names. I'm thinking if SPY would do something like this, at least it'll fill this gap. You know, if it can pretty much come back to this previous day high. Cue is gone. I'm sorry, Tesla. Just gonna be patient on this name. This name will pay me for my patience. I know that much. Because this move from here all the way up to here, especially on the underline, those coins are in the money. You got momentum. You know, those are 60, 50% trades. Do not underestimate that. So I'm just gonna be patient on this name. I haven't took a trade on Tesla in a very long time, a very long time. Like this is not FOMO. This is not, this is being patient. Like I didn't get my pullback, deep enough to 450. So I didn't take the trade. We saw me do that yesterday with the video. I didn't get that pullback deep enough because I'm always thinking about if this trade does not go my way. You have to think like that. And risk management always comes first. So especially on a name like Tesla, we pulled back here. My key level is 450. This is $1.60. And then of course, my stop loss is going to be under 450 waiting for a candle closure. That's a big stop loss. That's a very big stop loss. So it's like, sure, in the moment when you see it actually work out, you're like, oh, I should have took it. But you're building bad habits. And those type of losses, like, man, look at this. That's a pretty big, that's a big loss, especially on a name like Tesla. So just no FOMO. It's gonna be patient. Really nothing going on here on the hood. Kind of sideways action. Knew to avoid this just because how these candles looked. I was not a fan of that. So it's still bullish. And hood is one of those names where when it has a nice trendy day, it's beautiful price action. You just gotta be able to read it. So you can clearly see we're just sitting between this key level. Kind of shocking to see this a little bit. Kind of not really. You can expect sellers to step in and sell their position in all-time highs, but um, this looks really good. There's just like a beautiful trend to the downside. Super clear divergence on SPY and the Qs, right? NVIDIA is a name that's still in play for a pullback long. As long as we haven't taken out this thing is still like, this is a valid long off of 190, 105. It's simple. I don't know if we'll get that pullback. I mean, I would say, let me see. Tesla's starting to trend. It's doing its own thing. It's beautiful to see as soon as we break out of that channel how clean price action gets. Wish I got that. It's funny because like, oh, some people would ask me like, dude, I got asked a couple of times, do I get annoyed or upset when I miss a trade? Not really. I'm human too, so it's annoying because I know how much money this is for sure. But FOMO and all that, absolutely not. Control what you can't control. It's very important in trading. Just control what you can't control. The only things we can control in trading is our risk and our emotions. Everything else is out of our control. Yeah, this is. I'm happy to see this on SPY. I kind of hope this keeps pulling back. Maybe we fell under this and reclaim, just so it can, pretty much fill that gap. So we're seeing a gap fill here on the SPY. See what these contracts look like. Today's the 28th. Yeah, contracts are a buck. That's not bad. Okay, now we're starting to see keys pull back a little bit. Very unfortunate. I would look to go long here. I would. I just don't trust the previous day high and low levels. I would really look to go long there if it was a key level. You can see buyers are stepping up defending that. Maybe you can't force scalp, but I'm very conservative on 0 DTEs. All right, we're starting to look a little heavy. So we'll see. Like I said, I kind of hope so. I wouldn't be surprised just because we've gapped up 3 days in a row. There's so much thin volume that has to be filled. Clearly see that. So, and then Hughes has already broke under the low day. See, like this is normal though. This is 100% normal. It doesn't mean we're bearish, but these like it's normal. It's just a lot of thin volume. Um, we had 3 cap up days in a row. So for the sake of market structure, it's something I always say. I kind of hope we just do have a pullback type of day. Hughes is defending its low day pretty well though. So no, like I just said, if you can get something like this, like a fail under this, and then a reclaim, It's valid. I just don't trust previous day high and low levels to take a trade off of. But buyer stepping up here. These are people shorting, getting squeezed out of their positions. What does that do? That fuels this move higher. This is really swept the previous day high, filled those orders, reverse. Cool little trick for because I know some people are reversal traders. If you ever want to trade a reversal, you gotta wait for the previous day higher low liquidity to be swept. Because I know you, if we fell under this, it could be inside bar day. I know a lot of people play reversals. All you would have to do is just wait for the previous day high liquidity to be swept and then see if price falls back under it. And if so, your stop loss would just be the swing high or the high day or just a break back over the previous day high. That's just if that's your trading style. I know it's some people's, but that's all you have to do. So you, as a reversal trader, you really got to focus more on liquidity. You know what I say, the trend is your friend, but when we push up into the previous day high, so like those, take out those orders and then reverse, that's no shocker to me. It's no shocker. Like I said, you see yesterday, if you watch my pre-market video coming into today's session, I said we ended up getting that retest right at the end of market open. I'm sorry, at the end of market close. So we ended up getting that instant retest here, but you can see this 188 is being held respectfully. So kind of got that pullback here. So we were able to enter here, like perfect swing trade, and then you're still holding this. So you can see this 188 is being defended very well. This is a breaker structure play. So I'm just hoping I can get a deep enough pullback eventually. Because now we're just going to see our next leg higher after that consolidation period. Like if we get this pullback here, I would just target this high day. Really, we just have to trust my level here. I know sometimes it's hard for people to take these type of pullbacks when you're like, okay, this is more than a 50 shape. I'm sorry, 50% drop off. Like this is the high day way back to the lower day. But it's all about market structure and key levels. Like I said, if we fail this 450, clearly I'm not looking to short this name. If we fall into this 450, technically we're back in the channel. Okay, so SPY is now, let me just show you. All right, we're falling under this previous day high. So just a pullback, long type of day. Not surprised. Like I said, we gapped up 3 days in a row. We gapped up 3 days in a row. And then Q's, even though there's divergence, it's starting to give in a little and fall under its low of day. You can clearly see. So it's one of these names where like you look at the 15, you can see, these last 3 15-minute candles on the dot. So this is a key level. It's a very strong key level. This thing is still bullish to the upside. See how yesterday we turned this into support and now today resistance? We just want to see this flip back into support and get one of those. A little surprise here on the video, just a little bit, for it to push up into 195, 47, not really making the all-time high pullback. So I'm happy about it. Like I said at the start of this video or session, this is I'm looking for this if we don't take this 195.62 out. So this is a valid long. We'll see if we'll get like a low day bounce here. See this wick, buyer stepped in, so we can see if like one of those, a low day bounce, because we're starting to see that on the Qs. But and if SPY can reclaim this previous day's high, that thing can really get fuel to the upside. I don't know where that came from. I know we have an orange folder news at 7 a.m. I don't know if that was that. I'll show you what I'm talking about. That. So, what I always say though, people trying to short this name, they get squeezed out of their positions. That fuels this move higher. I always say that. We see it every day, day after day. So, okay. So it seems like we did see buyers step up here. unfortunately. Spot is like this. It's kind of volatile for me right now. It's very volatile. So Q's is sitting higher, but we're really kind of just sitting sideways. I don't like the PA right now on the spotlight, but you can see here on the Q's, kind of just sitting sideways. Maybe you can say we're starting to form, a lower low. We got to see what price does around here. Maybe you can say, yeah, we're making lower lows, but right now, I'm not really fond of the price action. But we're just sitting sideways. That's kind of what we're doing right now. I was really looking for this dip and rip here on Tesla. The thing is, Hood is flirting with this level. It's flirting. It's sitting sideways. Once we ended up getting this breakout candle, it looked a little promising. And then you see right here on this candle, bar stepped up, but ended up probably would have get stopped out. So AMD's just sideways anyway. But I hope this makes sense on how I break this down. Like this is, I mean, I guess technically this is all-time high, but we're already sitting at all-time highs. You do not want to enter a trade up here, especially like when we keep, gapping up and pushing to the upside without making any more key levels. This is being late to the party. And that's why we're kind of chopping a little bit because there's no dip. We need a key level for there's a dip. So, you can take a trade off this previous day high, but it's just a lower probability trade, in my opinion. And then you can see how this previous day high is not really getting respected as much. That's why I use them as reference points. For the fun of it, let me see what Apple's doing. And so, unfortunately, Apple got earnings and we were not touching this name, but I've been breaking this down. Like this is our next leg higher that you're looking at right now. One sec. Yeah, pretty much a trend day here on Tesla. Clean price action looks good. What I always say, I want to see the top of the channel turn into support. We ended up getting that yesterday, right? Got that retest during the pre-market. Buyer stepped up and pushed this thing. So we are starting to see our next leg higher. This name is very bullish. I do expect earnings to be really good, to be honest. Um, I've been doing a little bit of homework on it, so I'll see. But you can clearly see, just look at this. Actually, give me one sec. Right, look, bottom left top right, this thing's trending. Consolidation, this was our no trade zone. Broke, turn it into support. Now we're getting our next leg higher. That's like clean textbook price action. Unfortunately, it gives us this, the week of earnings. Name like that, you do not want to be. It's already a slow mover on the underline. You definitely want to get into a trade now that you got to deal with earnings and IB. The past 2 weeks, Apple has given us great setups on Fridays. I've been noticing that pattern. And then seems like that's going to be this Friday too, because earnings is Thursday after close. So you really can't even touch the same until Friday. But we'll see. We'll see. After today, I'll see if there's some key levels on the 4 hour. But this is textbook. Top of the channel, break, retest, turn into support, continuation high. Just textbook. Kind of see just doing that right now. There's really nothing going on. Still see we kind of got that gap, so I would prefer to pull back here. And then SPY's just consolidating around the previous day high. That's why I say you really want to avoid these type of trades when we're gapping up and we're making all-time highs. It's so important to take trades off of key levels because then you just have a clear, defined market structure level you are risking off of. It's hard to do that, with gap ups and then no more key levels and then you're sitting at all-time highs. It's pretty hard to do that. You can see we're bullish buys here. It's just crappy price action. You can see now that, because I noticed this yesterday, right at open, there was not a lot going on with this volume and open interest. But now that you can see, we've been open for a little bit more than half an hour. Spreads look better a little bit. I mean, there's still a 25-cent difference, but volumes went up, open interest went up. So just an observation. Beautiful trend day here on Tesla. Like I said, if we get over this 466.50, that's valid. This thing's bullish to the upside. We still gotta make all-time highs. This one sucks. This is the A plus pullback long, literally like Nvidia from yesterday. And you just hold this on the higher time frame. So I mean, on the intraday alone, this is a big payday. Yesterday we broke out. We didn't get that retest. Today we didn't fully get that deep enough pullback. But this is like the swing trade that you hold some of your runners and just let this gravitate towards all-time highs. Like the same trade we just saw yesterday on Nvidia. Just give me one sec, just so I can give a visual. This is this trade. That's literally the Tesla trade setting up right now. That's this trade, right? That's this trade because it's holding this 450 perfectly, even in yesterday's session. So unfortunately, just didn't get that deep enough pullback. But look at this thing. This thing is intact, 100%. If we break over 466.50, I'm open to taking a trade here. Seller stepping aggressively right here. I said a good thing about SPY is today we at least filled this gap. You can see buyers are stepping up here a little bit. It's just hard to take a trade off this with this price action and a 0 GTE. It's very valid. Fell, reclaim, break, retest. We see the damage probably tells the story, so something like that. Let your stop loss be under this. That's a good market structure stop loss. Because this is the pullback long off a previous day high. You don't want to sit in the sideways action on a 0, but you can clearly see. Even Google gapped up crazy. Like, look at yesterday. Hard to take something like this when we got earnings, but just that's wild. That's crazy. Still see we kind of got this gap to fill. But we got earnings, so pretty much hands off the same anyway. Yeah, after market close on tomorrow after market close. Might be a cash day for me. Unfortunately, I didn't get this pullback long. I'll see if we can get this 466.50. The trend is different. We are trending higher. But if we get a break in base, I'm gonna pass on this. I need like full displacement and then retest. So we're about 20 minutes away from market being open for an hour. I've seen the videos just starting to chop around. Nothing going on there. You can see Tesla's trending. Each dip is getting bought up clearly. So Yeah, kind of a slow one right now. This is really the main one, Tesla, right off our pre-market plan. Like I said, you can always take a trade here, scale down a little bit, because you're really risking off this. As long as you're above 450, it's a valid long. But if that trade doesn't work out, you're gonna fill it in your P&L. Definitely gonna fill that. But this is textbook. You can see we got the curl to the upside. That was nice. No surprise buyer stepped up down here. Now, really not much going on in the Qs and SPY. Clearly see Qs just consolidating. Nothing going on there. All right, this is about long. You would have to play like next day cons because you don't want to get hit with theta on a zero. But you would just be looking for pullback longs off previous day highs and previous day lows. This is very valid. This is a valid shot. Hard to take that on a zero just due to the sideways action. But if you play it next day, it's nice. This thing gapped up too. Well, this thing's still intact to the upside, IWM, for sure. So yeah, this is a weekly level, so pullback long targeting here, that's very valid. I know some people trade this name, just like the SPY and the Qs. You can see Tesla is starting to trend. How do you know a name is trending? Each dip is getting bought up aggressively. So this is how you catch the big winners, being able to sit in pullbacks and understand market structure. Damn. Let's see, we were a dollar and 60 cents away. That was it. That was it. But Tesla's back in play. I'm excited for Tesla. As long as we haven't really taken out all-time highs, this thing is still in play, really. So just look how clean the price action is now that we finally broke out of that channel. It's kind of crazy to even look at. Look how long we sat in this. Look how long we sat in that. I've been saying, straight up, you go straight down. As soon as we got in here, we had a straight up move. You can clearly see we had a straight down move. Look at these candles compared to all of these. Today was a really big day though, because coming into today's session, we didn't really get a daily candle close above this yesterday. So this is why we're seeing this clean price action, this beautiful dip and rip, because we never got that candle closure. Kinda, but I'm not really gonna consider that. You can see sellers stepped up aggressively up here at the top of this range. So what we were looking for, like I always break down, is a daily candle to form above this 450 and then get that pullback. That's why we're seeing this clean price action. Straight up, it goes straight down. Really only took, what, 2, 3 days? Let's see. Basically 2 days, yeah. I think price will gravitate towards this 466.50. We're already over the previous day high. This looks solid. And then as soon as we get over this 466.50, there's nothing in its way to all-time highs. So kind of unfortunate we missed this trade. Still in play here. I mean, 488, 466, that's a big dollar difference. That's still a very big trade opportunity. Like I said, this thing is in play as long as we haven't taken out the all-time highs. But like I've been preaching, this 410 down here was holding this thing up. You can see, we broke. You can kind of see this U shape, and then what we're doing now, just rallying back up towards the upside. So really nice here on Tesla. I haven't taken a trade on this name in so long. It's definitely been teasing me. We had it yesterday, never got that retest, and then today never got that full pullback. But the one thing I really want you to learn from me is like not FOMOing into trades. You see, we take trades off our key levels. We're gonna get our winners. We're gonna get paid nicely. I think a week or two ago, same thing. I missed a couple of trades on AMD just because we never got the retest, never got a pullback. So Do not FOMO. Always think about your next 100 trades. Always think about building good habits. Remember, the same way we build bad habits, we build good habits. It goes hand in hand. And what you do here is when you take these type of trades and they work out, it's going to be very hard for you to accept that loss when it doesn't work out. And then you're going to revenge trade. And then you're going to go down, whole tilt mode. So don't let FOMO kick in. It's good to see our market structure holding up. And like I said, coming into pre-market, we already got that retest, to be honest. Price pulled back to 450.70. This is a better long entry for me. That's only a 20-cent difference. See the difference there? So we already did get this pullback and retested this during the pre-market. So I'm not really surprised. If anything, I'm surprised we pulled back as much as we did, to be completely honest. So the next key level here is 466.50. Just want to see that. We went through our consolidation period. Now we're seeing our next leg higher. So don't let the FOMO kick in. Beautiful. Like just trends being set in stone right now. I'm happy about the video. If I'm being honest, I'm pretty happy about this one. Just reason for that being, we did not take out this all-time high. I said that at the start of the session. So even though we took a solid trade on this yesterday, we missed kind of that A plus long pullback type of swing. This thing is still in play. This thing is still in play. So as long as we didn't make an all-time high and we could pull back to this 190, 105, very valid, very, very valid. There's really no momentum right now on the SPY and the Q, so that shows you how strong Tesla is. This is the SPY and the Qs. There's nothing going on there. That's the Qs. That's the SPY. There's nothing going on. Nothing. Like I said, I'm happy though that SPY filled its objective. We filled that gap, so very happy about that. You can see HUD. Let me show you HUD on the 15-minute. I'm not going to touch this name now, but it's a bullish name. Look at this 15-minute candle. Look at all these wicks. The body's been closing above this. This is a very valid trade. Market structure. See that? Just being patient. I'm not really trusting this price action right now, but we know that we're bullish bias on this name. We know that for a fact. And this thing doesn't move like that on the underlying, so it's not something that I really want to sit sideways in. But very valid here. See this 15-minute? Look at each of these candles. Wicks to the damage body tells the story. What do these wicks show me? Buyers are stepping up very aggressively here. Very aggressively. Might be a cash day for me though. Yeah, I just don't have. Yeah, I wouldn't consider this a key level or this. So I kind of just gotta wait for price action to develop here on AMD. Like for me, this is just not a key level. Not at all. Almost, but nah. There's clearly nothing here on the daily. Like there's no key level here. So kind of just gotta be patient and let price action develop on AMD. Those are trade off the previous day highs and lows. Well, let me see. No. Maybe if you took this on the reclaim, but even on the reclaim, I have to wait for a candle to close because this is pretty much just kind of playing the breakout, and then you're playing a breakout into the high day. So I wouldn't take that entry. But like I always say, we're bullish bias, so we fell under reclaim, fuels that to the upside. We see that every day, but that's just a hard reclaim play because you want to wait for that candle to close and then see what the next candle does. And you never really got to retest over the high day. Beautiful here on Tesla, to be honest. But coming into tomorrow, what are we looking for? Breaking retest over 466.50. If we break above that today, I wouldn't be surprised if we do, but if we do, I'll pull back long off of this, targeting all-time highs, or pull back long off this 450. See how the price action is cleaned up on HUD? So now you kind of want to wait for a retest here. Like, see, this is a 25-cent spread. It's very hard to take that, especially with how I trade and how I let market structure be my stop loss. You feel those spreads when you sell for a loss. Trust me, you feel those spreads when you sell for a loss. I guess I could do a limit. Let me see. Maybe if I could like buy, I just don't trust the volume. If I could like buy the bid, sell the ask, maybe. But, like these, let today be a prime example. Like these are the 100% trades. These are the 100% trades. We already know Tesla. This trade alone, just from there, would have paid you very well. You scale out, you let your stop loss be break even, you understand higher time frame structure. This turns into a perfect swing trade. We just saw this on the video yesterday. So I'm intrigued with NVIDIA for sure. So this downside that you're starting to see on AMD and on NVIDIA, the cues are trying to break through the low day. But let's look at this from a market structure standpoint. This is all this is. Stair stepping. We're stair stepping. Look at this day. Look at yesterday. If we get that before making a new all-time high, this is just a stair step. That's exactly what we're looking for. So I'm very intrigued taking this off of 191.05 just because we didn't make a new all-time high. That's very valid. That's just clear market structure. As we saw yesterday, NVIDIA is a very slow mover, so I would just be looking for a potential swing trade on this anyway. Day on Tesla. Another day on Tesla. I'll do my best to try and find, like, there's really no more key levels. After 466.50, you can see here, there's really no more key levels. You can see, give me one sec. You can see here, 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 and then even today, we're seeing some reactions right here. So 466.50 is really our key level. It's really our key level. You see we got a peak and fell above this on the 2nd of this month, but other than that, there's really nothing in its way. After you can clearly see here on the daily, after we get over 466.50, there's nothing in its way. There's no more key levels. Maybe you can say, all right, price will gravitate towards here, but I mean, we're already at all-time highs at that point. But this is what Tesla does. I mean, look at this whole period, and then 2 days, it's just that. And then look at this whole period, and then now we're doing that. Like, that's crazy. That's just what Tesla does. You know, this consolidation period, and then we trended higher. And then we had this, and then we trended higher. And then we had this, and now we're trending higher. So that's what I mean when I say, when we sit in these consolidation periods, that's 100% normal. We're just waiting for our next leg higher and lower. The market doesn't go straight up and down forever. You know what I mean? So hope that makes sense. That's exactly what we saw on Palantir. Exactly what we saw on Palantir. I already broke this down. We were trending, consolidation, next leg higher, and then consolidation, and now we're starting to see our next leg higher. That's 100% normal. That's just clear market structure. See, this is a valid, if you play next day expirations, this is a valid long. All right, we saw this pull back together. We drew out our stop loss together. Wait till the damage body tells the story. You want your stop loss to be market structure. That's a beautiful stop. We can see the level here is holding. You're just looking for pullback long, dip entries. We filled the gap. Peak, right? Fell under. Filled this move to the upside. But look how slow this is. Look, this slow grind. You can't sit in that on a zero. But if you want to play like, end of week or even next day XP, it's perfect. I highly recommend, you do that anyway when we keep getting these gap up plays. So you do not want to get cooked on a zero. Hughes is fighting to try and hold this lower day. We'll see. I'm going to hope Hughes stays heavy today, just so we can gravitate and fill this gap at least. SPY's already filled this gap, so at least Hughes can do the same. But clear divergence today on the SPY and the Qs. See, what I'm looking at here is I'm hoping we can get a pullback here to this 190-105. Qs is looking a little heavy, and that can pull back to the previous day high. And that bounce off the previous day high can correlate with this long off this 191.05. So both of those kind of tend to seem in sync right now. That's kind of my game plan I'm looking at. Just gonna be patient here. Typically I trade, yeah, the first 2 hours, ideally 6:30 to 8 a.m. So it's only 7:33 for me. So market lately's been forcing us to be patient. So I'm gonna stick around, see if we can get this set up, at least a pullback long to this 190-105 on NVIDIA. I'll be very cautious on if we break over 466 today, or really within the next hour or half an hour, I'll be very cautious just because the momentum slowed down. I mean, look at market open, clean, beautiful. Yeah, we're stair stepping to the upside, but I just don't want to be in any pullbacks that is causing a stair step into the upside. I hope that makes sense. So you can clearly see now, Hood turning 146.70 into support. Just not a name looking to trade right now. You can clearly see just nothing there today. Holding our key level, but break retest, but not a name I would want to touch. I mean, look at Tesla. It's respecting very well. Like momentum is kicking in when we pull back and retest these levels on the intraday. Like these dips are getting bought very aggressively. Look at this break, retest here, and then how strong buyers step up on that retest. You can see buyers showing their hands here. So, right. So I already broke this down yesterday. As you know, this would pretty much be the no trade zone for obvious reasons. You can see here, you can see here. Yeah, just one of those days. And this thing is stuck in between the previous day high, previous day low. But when I see reactions at a key level, even when it's a choppy day, I see these as like potential trades that are setting up in the future, something I would pay attention to tomorrow. Because this is a daily double top now. This is a daily double top. That is the previous day high, which will be today. This is the previous day high. And then it's also a 4-hour resistance level and a break of structure. So if you get a break and retest over this, 228.35 on Amazon, that's a big trade. That's a clean structured trade, 100%. So this is a name that you definitely would want to watch if you trade this name. You avoided losses today, and you preserved capital and mental capital if you just avoided this no trade zone like we broke down. A good short is under 2.6. That's a good short. We're still pretty much bearish bias on this name until we fall. I'm sorry, until we reclaim this 228.35. So this is a really good RR trade if this sets up. That's a really good RR trade, actually. I don't mind watching that. See what I mean? Like it's a good. The volume's not that high, but look how tight the spreads are. Only a 5 cent difference. Open interest is good. Delta's good. Even one strike price out of the money on a name like Amazon, the Delta's at 40. So I'm sorry, at 50. So it's a solid name. It is. I just don't trade it as much because it's a slow mover a little bit on the underline, but it respects market structure very, very well. Very well. See this channel? It's pretty much just holding. It's holding this 226. See buyers stepping up here. Like I said here on the daily, you zoom out here. You don't want to take anything in here just because price would just be sitting sideways. That's not moving higher or lower. If we break under this 2.6, like I said, that's clearly a lower low. See what Palantir's doing. Definitely gonna watch this. Only thing I don't like is Q's is just pulling back pretty heavy. Very valid. This is a weekly level. I understand if I take the trade, it's gonna be a very slow mover. So we'll see. I would scale accordingly to this because this would be a possible swing trade. I would prefer if we fell under 188 and then reclaim it. Yeah, right now the Q's is pretty heavy. Well, it's not heavy, but it's just pulling back. That's what you're seeing right now in the Q's. Yeah, this thing's in sync with the Q's actually. When Q's pop, it popped at its high day, and then around the same time when they both made a high day, they've been pulling back since. So this thing's pretty much in sync with Q's. So if this had a little bit more divergence, I'll be looking to take that shot. So I just have to wait for Q's to bounce. And sometimes this is a good lesson. Sometimes this is what's annoying when the overall market itself has gaps because it'd be pulling back, filling these gaps, and some of these names approach key levels, but it'd be moving with the overall market. I hope that makes sense. So you could see like buyers are stepping up here. That's exactly what you want to see. The Q's is pulling back pretty heavy right now, looking to fill this gap. A pullback long off this previous day high because these two are in sync for sure. 742 for me. Like that was Q's right now, just making a new low of day. So it's kind of just hard to pull this trigger when you got QQQ filling this objective. I hope that makes sense. Let me try and break that down. And then for Tesla, God honest truth, I hope it just sits all day today. Like for the rest of the day, had this nice trendy day. It's made its new high in a very long time. I actually hope this thing just sits. I want to go into tomorrow's session without breaking this 466.50. Because then we can get a break and retest over that. Maybe if we gap up a little bit during the pre-market, just look for a pullback long. I kind of don't want this to to break over this 466.50 today and then continue to trend higher. So I know it's a little selfish of me, but you know what I mean. So you see buyers are definitely stepping up here, 100%. It's just right now the Qs, give me one sec, I'll show you what I'm looking at. The Qs is doing this, right? These things are in sync. The Qs is just doing that. So it's hard to go long there when you got SPY and the Qs pulling back. But I really want Qs to fill this gap, at least, come back to the previous day high. But we can clearly see in real time, buyers are really stepping up here trying to defend this. Just copy timing. Like I said, if there was a bit more divergence and I saw like strong buyers, but this thing's like pretty much in sync with Qs. Okay. So we might be seeing a break of structure here on Tesla. It's a swing high. So if we get one of those, definitely seeing a break of structure on the intraday. To be completely honest, this move kind of made me happy. This Nvidia is still in play. It's still in play. It hasn't taken out all-time highs, so this thing is still in play. Okay. So good definition here when I say there's a difference between missing a trade and skipping a trade. This is right off the plan. It's later into the session, so momentum clearly has died down. This thing doesn't move that much on the underlying. The only reason that I'm not really going long here is just because the Qs is pulling back and they're pretty much in sync. But we can see buyers are trying to defend this. We can clearly see that. It's just hard to take that shot with Qs pulling back as well. Like these are the type of plays where it gets a little tricky or a little frustrating when the market keeps gapping out because we'll have pullback play entries, but the market's filling its gap. You know what I mean? So I kind of hope that makes sense. So in a case like this, you would want to see clear divergence. Like you want to see buyers are ignoring the Qs and saying, no, we're here and we're defending this level. But look at Palantir and then look at Qs, right? Just pretty much in sync. But there's always tomorrow because if we do fall into this, we know we're bullish bias on this name. We know that much. So we just be looking for a break and retest back over 188. That's all we would be looking for. And then 15 cents right out the money, 10 cents right out of the money. So it's not too bad. I like it. Delta's sitting at 44. So it's a good name. Tight spreads, good volume. We see buyers are really trying to defend this on the dot. On the dot. It's actually a really beautiful setup. Like I said, I'm just skipping this trade for now, just because to me it's not worth the risk. Because if I lose this trade, I know why I lost. And then I journal that and I'm like, yeah, I literally saw the Qs pulling back. There was no divergence in the market. This thing was following the market, and I still took a long entry. Right? That's a loss that could have been avoided. So very different if Qs was just trending to the upside. Strong buyers, but as of right now, these two are pretty much in sync. Right? You caught this break and retest around here together when we saw this. Very valid long. Very valid long. That's why I kind of teach you to just play the next day cons. It's just safer because that way you can actually sit in this. You can actually sit in that and then let this thing gravitate higher. Now see this candle and then look at Qs. Both in sync on the dot. I just don't like that. Like I was hoping Qs can fill this gap and then we can get buyers to step in down here at this previous day high. That was like the move that I like better. But we can clearly see these two names are in sync, so I'm just not touching that. Let's just be a good lesson. Like this is why I don't keep going to it, but just pay attention to the cues and like whatever individual name you're trading. This will help you, avoid a loss or skip a trade, pass on a trade, take a trade. If it's clear divergence for sure, but you really want to see if names are in sync. And right now, Qs and Palantir is in sync. So this may look like, oh, strong buyers are stepping in, but now it's kind of making lower lows. And then when you look at the Qs is clearly making lower lows on the intraday, clearly making lower lows. So just be cautious there. I hope that's a good lesson, like on what I do to avoid a trade, skip a trade. And then, like I said, there's always tomorrow. Like this is still our key level here. This is still our key level. So we can just look for a pullback long here tomorrow or just a break and retest over this. I'm not going to force that right now, just due to what Qs is doing on the intraday. But I'd love to see that, hey, bars are defending this very well. I do love to see that. I just don't trust the cues right now. All right, so pretty much 750 for me. I'm gonna give everything 10 more minutes. You can see Tesla is still holding market structure. Tesla's still holding market structure. Solid day. Really nothing else going on. You see that on Palantir? And then look at cues. These two names are in sync right now. It's kind of crazy. So that's just why I'm passing on Palantir. I try and teach people, these key levels aren't magic levels. They're not magic levels where price just comes in and you automatically take a trade. There's a lot more that goes into it. Reading the price action, understanding the market structure, what the overall market is doing, what time is it in the market as well, stuff like that. So, but we see right now, Palantir and Qs are basically identical twins, and I just don't like that. So I pretty much will close shop here in about 9 minutes, and then solid day on really avoiding hood. Being able to it took me a while to be able to read stuff like this because you'll see like, oh, this was a breakout, candle closure, displacement. We got the pullback, buyer stepped up here, but understanding the candles as well, and I'll make a video on that in the future. Actually, my next educational video is entry confirmation, how to read that, how to get into that. So, been working on that. Obviously, I'm a visual learner. I'm assuming a lot of you are too. So, I'll insert actual clips of live trades of doing that. It's just easier to show a visual after I break it down. But, I used to lose on trades like this. You see it break and a retest, and you're like, dang, what happened? But look at the wicks at open versus the candles now. So when I see these big wicks and big candles, those are very volatile. Those are high risk trades. Those are like basically news catalyst candles. So I know to stay away from that, right? That's how we avoid, this loss. And this just takes screen time. Now, my advice is, watch these videos and just get tape. I used to do the same thing when I was starting. So look at, Tesla candles. Look at NVIDIA candles. Not too big, right? These are like normal size candles. And then look at hood at open. These are crazy. So I knew instantly, yeah, I'm not touching this. And some of my past live trading videos, you would see me pass on a trade. Like, yeah, I'm not touching that. And then the trade ended up not working out. So we avoided a loss. Just little things like that. So it looks good for sure. Today's just not its day. But if you go here on the 15, it's holding up. It's just today's not its day. Um, no surprise here. Stuck in between the previous day high, the previous day low. Price is consolidating right now. But the thing is holding up. It's definitely holding up. Like you can see, let me go back. Like this thing can move. The price action's clean. That's something I noticed about it. Like I said, I've traded a couple of times, but once we get, clean price action, like beautiful stair step. This is a beautiful day. Clearly see here, beautiful day. You can clearly see here, price action is clean, even though it was a down day. Like I'm just trying to show you the price action on this name. It actually is. You can see this clean price action. It's a clean name to trade, 100%. So just understanding that the past 2 days, a little choppy, a little choppy. You can see we did get that break, retest bar step in. If he took this was still a good trade. But why am I not surprised? We're entering back into this channel, but you can clearly see, this was a breaker structure over here, trending down. This was making a lower low, and then we reclaimed that. So we are bullish bias. I mean, it's pretty cool to see. You can clearly see. Talk about a V-shaped recovery on the daily. That is a breaker structure over this 140.15. We are bullish bias and all-time highs. It's still in play here. If this is a key level, this 146.70. The reason we're seeing the price action we're seeing is because we're entering at the bottom of a channel, of a range. But if you can enter here, this is honestly the highest probability setup. You don't want to enter anywhere else in here. You can enter down here at this 146.70, and we get the shot towards all-time highs. That's a very valid trade. That's a clean trade. So yeah, momentum's died down here. Like I said, I hope Tesla can stay under 466.50, and then I hope NVIDIA can really just pull back a little bit more. Pull back a little bit more. We didn't take out this all-time high, so for me, that's pretty valid. We still got our setup here on Tesla. We got to catch display because there's no more key levels over this 466. If you watched yesterday's live trading session, you saw we broke out. I'll just show you. Right, a lot of built-up liquidity, blow off top, 445, and there's nothing you can do about that. You can clearly see at 814, big breakout, big displacement, but we never got that retest to this key level. Like I said, coming into the pre-market video today, we did end up getting this retest at the end of the day. Clearly, would have been a great swing trade because this is a strong key level, right? We felt this, reclaimed it with momentum push to the upside. So I was looking at this yesterday. We all were. And we saw that in the live trade. I just never got that retest. I ended up taking a trade on NVIDIA instead. And then today, even though I said it already happened pre-market, just never got a deep enough pullback. We ended up missing it by $1 and like 60 cents or something like that. So it's there. It's there. We were in play for sure. We just got to be patient, not let FOMO kick in, and let this come to us. right? If you're able to take that, that was solid. If you were looking to take a trade off the previous day high, but to me, that's just not a good RR trade. Look at your resistance here at 466. That's why I'm such an advocate of taking trades only off of higher time frame key levels because they're the better RR trades. We see that every day on every name. If you enter at this key level, this is your possible RR trade. We saw yesterday on the video, we saw today on Tesla. This is going to pay you more, and that's a safer trade compared to that. You could take a swing trade off of this and leave runners compared to this previous day high. Hope that makes sense. And then I broke this down yesterday. And this is what I went through. Sometimes the hard part about taking a trade off a previous day high or a pre-market or 5-minute RB, whatever the case is let's say you take a break and retest above this, and the key level's down here, and you go long and you get stopped out. It's an annoying loss because your thesis is correct. You're going long. You're going with the trend. The higher time frame context is on your side. You're doing everything right. It's just the entry point. So it's like you get stopped out for a loss, even though your thesis is correct. But your entry should be down here. Because if we fall under this, I know for sure, okay, my thesis is incorrect now, right? If I take a break and retest off of the previous day high, but we're still holding this 450, we pull back and long off of this, it's a bad loss, right? Because our thesis is correct. We really didn't get proven incorrect. It was just we didn't take a trade off a key level. I hope that makes sense. Once I started doing that, my win percentage went up tremendously through the roof, tremendously through the roof. So I really recommend, I think it was my first educational video, higher time frame key levels. Go watch that like 3 times and study that so you can really understand that. These are where all the big money sits, right? There's big money, a lot of liquidity, a lot of volume are sitting at these key levels. We get a break and retest, that's a break of structure. So, and you realize you take less trades, and every trade you take is a higher RR. It's a higher probability setup. I really recommend going to watch that. Break all this down. So, and even here on our live trading sessions, you'll see every day, these key levels being respected. So it's officially 8 o'clock for me. It's a cash day for me. Today was a display of patience, right? We didn't fumble into anything. Nothing approached my key levels, so I took no trade. Was able to read the price action here on Hood. Did not look good. I avoided it clearly. It's a good decision. There's nothing going on there. What else? SPY filled this gap, pulled back. You can clearly see we're holding this previous day high. It's exactly what you want to see. Nothing really going on in the Qs today. We gapped up, pulling back. Hopefully by the end of market close, we can pull back to this previous day high. That'd be nice. That's pretty much it. So hope you're able to learn something today. I hope these are useful. Don't underestimate the power of watching film, reading tape. Not trading is still trading. Not trading is still risk management. Remember that. Cash is a position. So we're going to catch our day for sure. I've been waiting for this Tesla trade. Didn't get it yesterday. Unfortunately, didn't get that deep enough pullback today. So we still got some names setting up here on Tesla and NVIDIA. We'll see if NVIDIA can pull back for the remainder of the session to this 191. That would be really nice. And then what am I missing? Oh, I'll go over Palantir. Right, we can see Palantir's holding. I hope that this is really one of the main lessons on why I didn't take this trade. Just it being in sync with the Qs and the Qs filling this gap and pulling back. So I hope this trade, skipping the trade makes sense. Remember, there's always a difference between missing a trade and skipping a trade. Remember that. And then AMD. So kind of just hands off this name. Just waiting for price to develop, just so we can mark out some key levels. But there's really nothing up here for me. And like I said, you enter up here, you're entering late to the party. We already made all-time highs. Entering late to the party. So we want to enter on these dips. So just gonna wait, be patient on AMD. Let this price action develop over the next couple of days and see if we can find a key level on the 4 hour. All right, so hope this helps. Hope you had a good session. Hope you're able to learn a thing or two. And let's get after it tomorrow.